Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
America's on fire right now. We can heal this whole city.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
These ain't no terrorists.
When I dedicated my life to people, I dedicated my life. Neutralize him by any means necessary.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
With these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Now we got drinks at the bar. They free.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Oh, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Guida.
How are you?
I'm great. Ready for another episode of Moviesucktastic Oscar style.
Ah, sweet. Yeah, we're here. We're doing it. Oh, there we are.
Things aren't not too bad so far.
No. Things are good. I haven't hated a film yet. I don't know if that's even coming with this crop. I mean, maybe. How many movies we got left? 4?
It's nice. It's nice when there's films that you may disagree with being on the list, but you're not like, yeah, this is complete shit.
Right.
So far, I haven't seen anything like that. Nothing has seemed too overrated to me so far.
No. And the film we're reviewing tonight is Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right.
Which I didn't realize until I watched both the Trial of the Chicago 7 and this, is that there is a small parallel between the two films.
Oh yeah. Mainly the main character
of Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right. I'm trying to remember the name. Fred Hampton.
Fred Hampton. Right.
Yeah.
And what's the other character's name that was actually Fred Hampton and Bill Cleary? No.
In what?
The one character in the Trial of Chicago 7.
We're not reviewing that now. I don't have any notes.
I know.
I'm
talking about
no
the
memory
slight.
for names.
I'm talking about the slight. I'm talking about the slight parallel.
But we'll talk about that in that film. You got to listen to that one if you want any information.
Well, I mean, come on.
Keep going.
Well, hold on. I want to get his name now. Now I'm like gonna go crazy. Hold on. It's right here. I got it. No, I don't have it. Wow. Come on. He was one of the main characters in the film.
Bobby
Seale. Jesus, yeah. Bill Cleary. Bobby Seale. Anyway, he is briefly mentioned in Judas and the Black Messiah, but is prominently displayed in the Trial of the Chicago 7.
Right.
And it's the opposite. Fred Hampton is the main character for Judas and the Black Messiah, and he is very briefly shown in the Trial of the Chicago 7. He's in it, but very little.
Right.
So, I mean, I didn't realize that the parallels were there like that, and it kind of makes it interesting. And we're reviewing Judas first because I almost feel like this is everything that kind of leads up to the Trial of the Chicago 7.
It's a parallel, but to an
you know
extent.
what I mean?
But yeah, I get you.
There are things that happen in this film that are talked about briefly in the Trial of the Chicago 7 because Bobby Seale is in the courtroom and Fred Hampton is in a courtroom, and it's all like leading up to certain things. And I liked that. I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm sure it was not planned that way in any aspect, both films. Like, for instance, this film came out February of 2021. It was supposed to come out in 2020, but because of COVID, it got pushed. And the Academy has decided to allow films to be nominated or to be submitted through February of 2021. And I have a feeling that's why Warner Brothers decided to release it in February so that it could get that Oscar push. And it is nominated for Best Picture, so it was a good strategy. So this film is predominantly about the Black Panther group. Fred Hampton, who is he's the leader of the Black Panther group, and the one character, his name is in the film. His name is Bill
O'Neill.
Bill O'Neill. That's right, Bill O'Neill. What he does is he pretends to be a police officer, an FBI, someone of authority, and he goes into these black clubs or just kind of watering holes, hangouts, whatever you want, and pretends to be a person of authority, and then steals their car. And one night, it doesn't work. They pretty much catch on very quickly that he is not who he says he is, and he ends up getting pulled over by the cops, and they decide to use him as an undercover informant for them. And he ends up being an informant for them for a long time, infiltrating the Black Panther group. You okay? Something wrong with your face?
No. Sorry, I was thinking about what you're
saying. Making these faces while I'm talking. I'm like, is he okay?
No. I apologize. I am listening to you.
It's okay.
Mine's going weird.
Okay.
But please continue.
But so the story is about him infiltrating the Black Panther group and the things that happen throughout the film,
and not just spying, but actually running sabotage for the FBI, which was happening with in a lot of these situations under Hoover.
Right. Oh yeah.
Who I didn't realize until after I watched the film was played by Michael Douglas.
It's Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. That's, you know what I meant.
I didn't. I mean, I know. Kind of.
Have they ever been in a film together? I doubt it.
No, maybe. Maybe. Back in the 70s, maybe.
No, I did not recognize him as Hoover. Martin Sheen.
Well, I thought the makeup was kind of weird.
I still didn't recognize who it was.
Oh, I could tell immediately by his voice.
I'm okay. I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Half in jest.
Yeah, but this is one of those films where I'm kind of glad they're making these films looking back at the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Because we kind of know it because we kind of grew up in the wake of it. But we do have like a whole generation that doesn't really understand how bad it was.
Right.
And I think it's not like the Holocaust. We totally understand. We can stop making films about the Holocaust. We know how horrible it was. It was mind-numbingly horrible. We're done. We figured that out. You definitely have a section of our population that doesn't know about the Black Panther.
They don't know anything about what happened.
No.
I mean, I didn't really know. I mean, I knew bad things happened, but this particular person, Fred Hampton, I didn't really know how bad it was, how he was treated, and how things went down with him. I didn't know it at all. I mean, this is stuff they don't teach in school.
They probably would have taught it in school if they weren't so concerned with me knowing what life was like in like colonial Williamsburg.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like that was like an entire year and a half of just don't care.
No.
And I'm not big on history films. I don't care for fake documentaries.
Wow. Is that a new term?
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
docudrama. I mean, I think that's kind of what the genre is called for this.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's biography is what you would call it, really. But what I mean is like a film with a that's trying to demonstrate something historically, even if it's about a specific character, in which this case it is, or two characters, to be honest. But I'm not usually into history films, but these kind of current events history films that are really just like, hey, look, this is what life is. It's like, oh shit. I'm not explaining it well, but I like what I'm saying is I liked it.
I like this. I like this film a lot. I really did. I mean, you're right. There is this period, and they've made films about what black people go through all the time, and still aren't okay, and still are going through, and you see, every once in a while you'll see a film like this where it's just like, holy shit.
Well, I think it's important too that like you can watch like 12 Years a Slave, you're like, oh, it's horrible that something like this ever happened, and but the difference is watching this and having someone tell you, yeah, I lived in this shit. Not that I was born in '73, so it's not like I was running on. I wasn't loose on the streets of Chicago. That's for damn sure.
Right.
It's 4 years old, but it was like, you want to release a film where at least one teenager says this actually happened.
Well, yeah,
like recently.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, if you really, break it down, just break it down. This only happened, 50 years ago?
That's what I'm saying. It's recent history that is really not taught in the public schools as much as it should. We only get it through our when our entertainment is part of entertainment is education. Right. I would say. And this is one of those good ways.
Segregation, 60 years ago, and I think there's, I don't know the exact date, but the last there is a town or a few in the United States where they had separate or segregated bathrooms and water fountains and all that stupid shit up until something like 30 years ago.
Oh, you're trying to think of the date it stopped.
Yeah. Like there's some town or a handful in the United States of America that allowed it until not that long ago.
Right.
Which is absolutely absurd. So,
with everything going on now, especially with the Floyd,
George Floyd.
I was right. With the Floyd trial going on and everything, I mean, this kind of stuff is just begging to be nominated for an Oscar, and it helps that it's also a quality movie.
Right, exactly.
Really. I mean, it really does give you these two desperate characters. I mean, and when I call Fred Hampton desperate, I mean, like, as far as like, I'm stuck in this situation. I'm trying to start a revolution.
Right. And then desperate for different reasons.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And we just get to watch the emotional turmoil that both these guys go through. And the Bill O'Neill character, and again, this is based on a true story. The film really conveys the emotional, moral struggle that he goes through this.
Yeah. So this is up for 6 Oscars.
Uh-huh.
And the 6 that it's up against or that it is up for, is obviously Best Picture, because we're reviewing it.
Which, I it's in the running. I mean,
it's in the running.
Yeah.
Sure. Best Picture, it's up for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Daniel Kaluuya. Best Song, Best Screenplay, Best Performance by a Supporting Actor, Lakeith Stanfield, and
hold on.
Best Achievement in Cinematography.
All right, back up. Best Screenplay?
Yes, original.
Thank you. Let's underline when there's 2 categories, sir, and some of us care.
Okay. What's interesting is, like I said, I think I had said 3 episodes ago when we did our Oscar nominees that I didn't realize until 2 years ago that the production company decides how their actors are, nominated by what they submit them by.
Yeah,
and I found that out with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. They felt that Mahershala had a better chance to win an Oscar by giving him a Best Supporting, and they put Viggo up for Best Acting, and their roles were the same. They had the same amount of screen time. Where Mahershala probably had a little bit more screen time, to be honest.
This is all why the Oscars are a joke.
Well, yeah. So what I'm getting at is Warner Brothers put both Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield as Best Supporting Actor. They didn't give either one a Best Actor, even though they're almost in every scene. Like if Lakeith Stanfield is in a scene, Kaluuya might not be, but they literally every other scene, back and forth, one of them is in a scene. They have pretty much equal screen time. It wouldn't be smart to put them both for Best Actor because one would probably not be nominated. But supporting, they both got a nomination. So it's all a strategy is what I'm getting at. It's interesting because when I found out that's how they did it, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought the nominations came from their peers. But it was like, oh, no. These are our actors. This is what we're submitting them for. I just found it fascinating, is all. By the look of your face, you didn't find it as fascinating as me.
No, I'm listening. What?
I'm just saying. It just looks like you didn't find it as fascinating as I did.
I don't have to dance for you.
I like it when you dance for me.
Yeah, but I don't have to, is what I'm saying.
No, you don't.
Consensual.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, but it was a great film. It wasn't over 2 hours long.
I think it was
like 6 minutes. The credits these days are like 15 minutes long. You
well,
can't
that's
even
what
count.
When we watched Justice League, the 4-hour Snyder cut, and we get to the end, and Mara's like, "How much time is left?" And I hit it because the epilogue hit, and I was like, "Oh, there's 27 minutes left." She's like, "What?" I go, "Listen, this is a 4-hour cut." I said the credits alone are going to be almost 15 minutes. And I think there were like 11 or 12. So I was like, yes, it says 27 minutes left, but there's really only about 15 minutes left in this epilogue. So, but you're right. There's so many people that's required, even on a low budget scale, to make a movie. Credits can, I think I don't know how long the longest credits are, but I think Terminator 2 at that time had the record.
Yeah,
when it came out,
about that.
It was like it was insanely long. It was like 11 or 10 or 11 minutes, and it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I remember that because everybody was tripping over themselves backwards to talk about Terminator 2.
Right.
It was like a weird cultural point.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah, the movie, it was like 2 hours.
It's not it's not too long. So
no.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any film that's and we've talked about this too in Oscar shows past. I don't think there's any film in this list that is more than 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think the longest film actually is The Trial of the Chicago 7 at 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think think that's the longest one.
Well, what's interesting?
No fucking Irishman nonsense.
Well, I mean that's.
Oh.
To be honest, over the last few years, that was kind of an anomaly now. Getting a film that's like over 3 hours for nominated for Best Picture is kind of not the norm anymore.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
But still.
Over the last few years, and we've talked about this, films have been kind of scaling themselves back as far as their runtimes go. So it's interesting to see that you'll find that summer blockbusters are, sorry about that. What you'll find is summer blockbusters will be in the 2.5 hour range. Daniel, can I help you?
Hi, Uncle Scott.
Say hello to the world.
Hello.
All right. So you'll find your summer blockbuster. They will go 2.5 hours, in that range, because the chances of them making money are much better. If it's a summer blockbuster, they know they can get in 4,500 on 4,500 screens or 4,500 theaters and across X amount of thousands of screens, and it could be shown on multiple ones every hour on the hour. 2.5 hour, is nothing. But when you start going outside of your summer movies, you'll find they tend to not be as long because they need to make their money. They need to show that movie as many times as possible in a day. And if you're over 2 hours, as you know, Scott, because you used to be a projectionist, if your film is over 2 hours, you've now cut how many times you can show that movie in a day. Because it's not like you can get away with what TV does, where they speed up the credits, where it's like 5 seconds long, so you can get the next showing in. You have to show it to completion. So,
I love it whenever you say to completion.
It's what I do best.
Now, the sad thing, I think the biggest complaint I have against putting both of these actors, Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, under supporting actor,
right,
is I feel like either one could have taken Best Actor, just based on that performance.
I agree.
Although, if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick between them, I would go with Stanfield.
Oh, absolutely. I think the performance he gives as someone who is in the position that he's in, tormented himself, you could feel how he just doesn't want to be in the position that he's in, even from the get-go. There are a couple of scenes where he's kind of having fun because there's not really a threat, but then when it gets serious, you could just feel he wants to get the hell out. He just wants out.
Yeah.
And out of both, out of being an FBI informant, out of Black Panther, he just doesn't want it, And they tell you at the end of the film, they pull what some Oscar films have done in the last few years, where they show actual footage of who the person is, or a footage of what actually happened. That's kind of like a thing now,
Yeah, that's for all the fake documentaries do it now.
Yeah, but people love it, so it's not gonna go away anytime soon.
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
No, and it did work in this, but they tell you, where he is, kind of what he, what happens to him, and it's pretty telling, and it really shows what Lakeith Stanfield was able to portray, how tormented he was in the position that he was in.
I just think it's an important film for this time period. I think every Oscar season you get one or two films where, whether or not it was intended, is like, this is the film we need right now, and it's a cliche.
I hate that cliche, by the way.
I
hate
agree with you. It is horrible, but I mean, I think topically this film couldn't have picked a better time to come out.
No.
Like I said, with the Floyd trial going on, and even just to illustrate that, and this is why I hate fake documentaries, because it's a film, so you're supposed to have that suspension of disbelief. So for me, it kind of takes away from the reality that, no, 50 years ago, our government was literally killing civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
We
No.
all know this. This isn't new. This isn't a discovery. We've been sitting on this for 50 years, whining about other stuff. and I think when it's done right, I mean, it's a nice public history lesson, I guess. Not being a history buff myself, I learned from this more than I knew. I knew a bit more than you, I think, but.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't doubt it.
I went to college in Vermont. Trust me, I know a bit more about this than you do.
Well, I mean, probably. I'm not blind to anything.
But only by that much.
I'm not blind to anything, and
No,
I know stuff.
Yeah, I'm not claiming to be woke or nothing.
You're not. Well, you woke.
I don't care. So, it's an Oscar film. It's up for Best Picture, but it's only a 7.6 stars on IMDb.
Is it 7.6? Huh? I would think this would be a little higher.
Me too. I think it deserves higher.
There's probably people that don't like the content.
What content would that be?
Well, I'm trying to dance around. There are probably certain people that have chosen certain sides that purposely give a film like this not a good review because they're morons.
Those people were.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah, obviously you're going to have a racist downslide, but I mean, do you really think this is where it's going to be on IMDb?
Why would anyone give this anything less than an 8?
That's what I'm saying. But still,
you know what I mean?
But you can't imply that anyone who gave it less than an 8 is a racist, because that doesn't help.
Can't I? Come on.
Now, I will say that since I'm giving it an 8, I definitely can't be racist.
No.
So
no, you that's your get out of jail free card right there.
Well, we're going in on this one. So we got this.
This is the highest rating we've given for any of the Oscar films so far.
Yeah, and I think accordingly so.
The first two we gave both 7s.
Yeah,
which is still a high score. It's still a good score. But
I was still, for both of the films that we've already reviewed, I felt they were cinematically blah.
Yep.
And so that was the main reason why they got over this. This film is very tight cinematography wise. The dialogue is excellent. Story flows. I got nothing wrong with this film.
Yeah, no. Same here.
Engaging for someone who wasn't looking for the topic.
Me too. I really didn't. I was like, okay, I'm not that I wasn't interested in seeing this, but it's not a film I probably would have sought.
No.
It hadn't been nominated for Best Picture. I would have watched it at some point, but I wouldn't have went out of my way.
Maybe.
And not necessarily because of the content at all. I do.
No, Joey. If you wouldn't have watched it, you're a racist.
Oh, is that right? Okay, just making sure.
Well, stop apologizing for it.
I'm not apologizing for anything. What did I say? I just said I would. If it wasn't nominated. No.
And I'm saying it not that way, Joey. We know not that way. Move
I didn't
along.
say anything like that. I said what I said was that if it hadn't been nominated for Best Picture, I wouldn't have watched it now.
Yeah, same here. But then you started going off.
I'm gonna go off.
Well, I confessed from the beginning when we did the Oscar nomination show,
right,
that there was only like 1 or 2 films on this I was even considering watching. There's a lot of stuff here that wasn't on my radar until the show came up, and I always welcome that. It's nice to get exposed to stuff you're not just drawn to out of habit or despair.
I knew about this film, and the only reason I knew about it was because HBO Max, Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers owns HBO, they released the list of films that they were going to allow to go theatrical and streaming at the same time for the rest of 2021.
Oh, and this is one of them?
And this was one of the films.
Okay.
Because this was supposed to be, it was supposed to come out during Oscar season, which, as everybody knows, is roughly around the end of October, beginning of November, all the way through the end of the year. That's when all the major studios will push their Oscar films. it's very rare that a film will get nominated before those months, but it does happen. And it's even rarer for a film to win Best Picture released before those months. It's just a strategy the production companies have. And I don't know exactly how they decided on that. Maybe they felt too much of a short attention span. Movies will get forgotten if they're released throughout the year, but if they cram them in at the end, it's showing everyone, it's like, this is our best crop. We're pushing it at the end. So what it does, and I think what it does is, if you push all your films at the end of the year, it makes it harder for them to remember great films that were released before that time period. It means they have a better chance of being nominated. So everybody does that. Everyone pushes it out, because the stipulation is 2 weeks in 2 major cities, being New York and LA, and you've qualified for a nomination. So I think that's
limited release.
Although with COVID, I think those have been lessened a bit, because some movies might not be able to meet that, because New York wasn't even showing films theatrically until, I want to say, 2 months ago, maybe January. I forget.
I can't wait until the clusterfuck that it is going to be the Oscars caving to the eventual overtaking of them by streaming services.
Yeah.
They're going to totally eliminate that concept of what an actual release is. They're going to lose that control, and they're not going to. It's like when Napster became a thing, and suddenly the music industry is like, oh, we have to show we have control. You don't have control. You don't. And once they go 100% streaming, the studios have no way to control the actual distribution. I mean, just through contract. I mean, legally they can, but as far as like trying to muscle the competition, nah, they're fucked.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting about it, like with the music industry, artists don't make any money on their albums really anymore. They get a little bit production.
Make it on the tour.
Concerts and tours, and that's where they make all the real money. I mean, even I want to say even a few years ago, Kid Rock was on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern basically said, "How do you make?"
That was like, what? I know this story. That was like over a decade ago.
Is that long ago? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, Kid Rock, he basically came out and said, I could give a fuck if they steal my album. I make all my money on tours. He's just like, I don't make really any money on the album. He goes, I make all the money on a tour. So that's why you'll see like these monster tours.
You and I are having this discussion while a portion of the populace doesn't know what the fucking album is.
Yeah.
This whole discussion is already moot.
Yeah. You know what? We should probably end this episode then.
Yeah. Sadness and despair. Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So this is a 7.6. We're giving it an 8. It deserves an 8. This is a very good film. As of right now, it's definitely a leading contender for Best Picture. So, all right. Let's go ahead. Let's do our out music. All right. What is this? Episode 335?
You tell me.
Yeah, episode 335. And I did the math. I'm like, yeah, no, we're going to hit 400. It's like, yeah, we'll hit 400 in 2 years. The way we do episodes, it'll be 2 more years before we hit 400. And it'll be like 4 or 5 years before we hit that 500 mark. Because we're not that we're lazy. We got shit happening. We do. We got lives. We got work, kids. It's the way it is. Other shows that can do an episode a week and don't miss one, God bless you. That to me that's torment. I don't think I could do an episode every single week. No, I can't.
It sounds fun, but I've got a real job.
So you need a week or 2 off. Sometimes you do. Anyhow, the website is in the works, but you can go to Moviesucktastic.com because that's what the website's going to be. So, I don't want any episodes to say, oh, our website's down. It's going to be working. I'm working.
You can find Moviesucktastic on YouTube. We have episodes there. We're streaming on there live right now, supposedly.
No, it's working.
Okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to open up the stream. I'm going to close it and open it again for the next episode, and the stream will work for that too. So you can go to iTunes. You can search for Moviesucktastic in your browser. If you want to download, because I'm also working on the app, there was something happened with the app where it's not listed in the Google Play Store anymore.
Oh.
But if you want it, all you got to do is go to moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk, and you can download the app for your Android device.
Have we tested that recently?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
A couple of things are broken, like the YouTube page, but the audio stream for the episodes works perfectly, which is the most important thing. So
have to look into doing something with that.
Yeah, I'm working on something.
No, me. I'll look into the app thing.
All right.
Anyway,
so yeah, so those are all the way. You can go just do a search for Moviesucktastic. We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google, we're on iHeartRadio, Podbean. We're on. Just do a search, and you just listen to us any way you like.
That's
and if
right.
you do download the app the way I said, moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk, you can listen to the show that way. You can hook it up right to your car, Bluetooth, whatever you want. It's really nice. It's really nice. So that's our show. Mr. Wilson, do you have any words of wisdom?
A badge is scarier than a gun.
I like that line in the movie.
Yeah.
Really did. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.